So when considering the strongest Genshin characters, there's a difference to be made between mechanical strength and canon strength. For example, Hu Tao is a powerful Genshin character, but she is a funeral director who dislikes fighting. Her combat strength is purely in the game's meta. On the other hand of the spectrum, Goro is a skilled general of an organized resistance, but is considered a low-ranking character, useful only in mono geo teams. So yeah, I think you should know now that what is mechanical strength and what is canon strength. And so, in this video, we are going to rank the strongest Genshin characters of each element according to lore. And we are not counting the Archons, so let's get started. Well, the strongest Anemo character in lore is Zhao. And hear me out on this. Excluding Venti and the Traveler, there are 8 candidates for the strongest Anemo character in Genshin Impact's lore, which are Sucrose, Faruzan, and Haiju. These 3 are all academics of some sort, more interested in investigation and learning than combat. Sayu's partial training takes her out of the running. Jin and Kazuha both come from similar families who trained them in combat. They are tied as the strongest mortal Anemo users. The Wanderer has incredible skill with his new vision, but he has only had his elemental powers for a short time. But Zhao, meanwhile, has devoted his life to fight demons and the remains of dead gods. Defending Liyue from the darkness of the world, he is clearly the winner for Genshin Impact's strongest Anemo user ever. Next is Cryo. So let's look at some Cryo characters. First is Aloy. She is a part of Cryo character roster, but she's not canon, so she won't be considered. Most Cryo characters in Genshin Impact are good fighters, excluding Mika, Diona, and Layla. The question to consider is how often they fight and how often they win. Chi-Chi and Ganyu are busy in their official roles and really have to pick up their weapons. Ayaka is a skilled swordswoman, but is better in formal fights than anything else. Chongyun is also a good fighter, but Rosaria, Kaya, and Eula all have more combat experience and don't scare off demons like Chongyun can. Between those 3, it's anyone's guess who would come out on the top. Well, it's Shenhe. Her immense skill is demonstrated during the interlude chapter, The Crane Returns on the Wind, when she single-handedly frees a giant tsunami. This demonstrates elemental power currently unmatched by any other Genshin Impact Cryo Vision user. So we can say that Shenhe is the strongest Cryo user in lore. Next is Dendro. So there aren't many Dendro characters in Genshin Impact as in other elements, but there are a few compare against each other. Baiju will be at the bottom of the list, largely because he may be the first Genshin Impact character to actually die. Yao Yao also lacks strength and was never truly in the running. Little is known about Kave, making it difficult to measure him. Tighnari is Collie's mentor, making him stronger, but his combat powers pale against Alhaitham, who has an entire demo on Genshin Impact's YouTube channel dedicated to his skills. So we can say that Alhaitham is the strongest character in Dendro. Next element is Electro. So in this female-dominant Genshin Impact element, nearly every character has combat experience. The main exception is the business-oriented Dorway. Kuki, Shinobu, and Lisa are both highly intelligent, but don't usually face combat. Yaemiko is similar. She's wise and talented Kitsune, but only fights when danger approaches her shrine. Razor and Fischl can both handle themselves on adventures, but there are other characters who have official high-class training with their visions. The duo would be Kaching. However, since she is more of a bureaucrat than a fighter, that leaves Kujusara, Sino, and Beidou in the running of the strongest Electro character in Genshin Impact. Kujusara is a general, but considering how many battles she lost during the war in Inazuma, she isn't the strongest out there. Sino is a general as well, hunting down criminals and striking terror into them. Beidou meanwhile defeated Haishan, the sea monster without a vision. It would be a close match between the pair, but Sino's reputation put him at the top, so we can say that Sino is the strongest Electro character in Genshin Impact. Next is Geo. The small selection of Geo users in Genshin Impact make it easy to determine the strongest of their numbers. Yunjin is obviously at the bottom of the list, since her only combat experience is staged combat. Albedo is highly talented, but more so with alchemy than with the sword. Noelle is actually stronger than him, and she is only a maid of Favonius. Noelle would also beat Arataki Ito by outsmarting the Oni. Although Goro is a rebel general, Ningguang reigns supreme. She demonstrates remarkable strength in the Archon quests, so we can say that she's not just the richest Genshin character ever, but also the strongest Geo user in Genshin Impact. Next is Hydro. So the Hydro element in Genshin Impact has a few standouts when it comes to combat. Kamisato Ayato is a skilled duelist, Shengcho is dedicated to Goa, Candace is also able to defend all of the Aru village, and Galan is a literal spy. None, however, can compare to the 11th Harbinger Tartaglia, better known as Child. He is one of the strongest character in Genshin Impact, capable of thriving amidst the terrible power of the abyss. So yeah, Child is the strongest Hydro character ever. And finally we have Pyro. So there are a lot of Pyro visions in Genshin Impact, and their users have a wide range of background. As usual, any character who don't spend a fair amount of time fighting are out of the running. This includes Hu Tao, Tama, Zhangling, Jinyan, Yanfei, and Yoimiya. Bennett is a capable adventurer, but his bad luck and basic training don't make him one of the strongest and greatest. Amber is capable of handling a fair number of enemies as the outrider of the Knight of Favonius. Still, Dialog and Deya have her beat, since both have extended lore about all what they have done with their claymores. But the strongest Pyro character in Genshin Impact's lore, to the surprise of anyone's first meeting her, is Klee the Spark Knight. She is kind-hearted little girl, but her story quests labels her as the strongest fighter in Mondstadt. Her bombs have canonically altered the landscape of the region. Fans make jokes about how this little girl is one of the strongest dangers in Teyvat has ever seen, and they aren't wrong. She's worthy of a title as the strongest character in Genshin Impact. But what do you guys think? Who are the strongest Genshin character according to lore, and why? Comment down below, and I will see you in the next one.